Welcome to Money and Mantras, a podcast where we explore the intersection of mindset, energy, science, and personal transformation. I'm Bob, that's Vipin, and today we're doing something and we're diving into something that quietly shapes every part of our lives, our beliefs. Beliefs are fascinating because most of us don't really choose them. We inherit them from our parents, our teachers, our culture, our experiences, and over time they become invisible rules that guide our decisions, our relationships, our careers, our finances, and even some of our sense of what's possible. Because sometimes the greatest manifestation isn't attracting something new, it's letting go of a story that no longer serves you. Today we're talking about our beliefs. So, Vipin, what's something that you believed 10 years ago that you let go and found out that it really wasn't true, that it wasn't really truly a belief? It was just something that was weighing you down and making you, nuts.
Wow. What a great way to start the conversation. Vipin here, and the Money and Mantras podcast with Bob and I are co-hosting today. Once a week, we're going to co-host. And as I co-host this thing, or I host this thing on the other sessions, let me start by saying, first of all, that it's a pleasure to be here with you. We've been doing this for a couple of years. This is the new start of our new book-based title, which is Money and Mantras. And then we're going into the podcast with the realignment of the name, different location, maybe a little bit more videos. I actually shaved today for this event. I
did too.
Exactly. little trim. And so for me, this is a loaded question. God, I want to address that a little later. And I want to start out with saying, you're right, 100%. Our beliefs are inherited based on our experiences, based on our family values, based on our values, based on our thinking. And usually before the age of 8, our beliefs are set in place based on how we see the world, how our parents helped us see the world, our family, what have you, and the culture that we live in. If you live in Wisconsin, the Green Bay Packers are your values. That's what you grew up with. That's a huge part of your Sunday afternoon, and it's a big deal. It's like religion. Most people go to go home and make lunch or supper or whatever you want to call it at 12 o'clock and have this big buffet set up and watch the Packer game. That's your big values. That's your belief, is Packers are your deal. I got to experience that when I went to college there. So as far as the beliefs that don't serve me, the belief that doesn't serve me anymore is that I am a emotionally irrational person. Belief that I'm an emotionally charged person, that I don't know how to control my emotions, that I don't know how to stay calm, centered, and loving. That was a belief that I had before. I was too, the word comes to my mind is anxious, which resulted in hyperactivity, which resulted in lack of serenity, lack of most of the time being in a place where I can think clearly, make rational and spiritual decisions. It's a combination of the two that we talk about all the time, is rational and spiritual, align in the middle, kind of the middle path, as the Buddhists call it. I felt that I couldn't control my emotions. I had a belief that I was prone to anger. I had a belief that I was too excitable, and I couldn't change that part about myself. Now, through all these years of working, one of the things that my team tells me is that you're amazingly calm most of the time. And again, most of the time may be critical in the sense that, like, I would say 90% plus of the time. Sometimes I can be charged up and be intense, but I still don't get to an anger level. And I can think of maybe one spot in the last year where I basically told someone to just pause and just hold their thing, but I was being stern more than angry. And so for me, that's one of the beliefs. The other belief that I have been working on, that I have thought a lot about in the last few months, last couple of years, maybe in the last year more than ever, is that I'm worthy of self-love, that I am perfectly fine as I am. I always wanted to do stuff to make myself better. I was looking for self-esteem rather than self-worth. So this kind of gets to the core. This is a very difficult question, right? What are you letting go of? A bad belief or a limiting belief? And then what are you charging towards? What are you advocating for yourself? And so for me, limiting beliefs are things that I'm not good enough. I need to go prove to the world that I am better than I see myself as. I need to go do a bunch of stuff to see that I'm worthy of success, relationships, physical health, all of that stuff. And I think that's the biggest mistake that we make as human beings is we
Hmm.
focus on experiences that give us limits versus experiences that have given us strengths. We're resilient beings. I've been through a lot. I've been through huge valleys, huge mountaintops, and there's tons of experiences that I can show that I'm a very confident, very calm, very loving person who should be proud of myself and being very confident in the fact that I'm very strong emotionally and spiritually and rationally. And so this is a very, very interesting topic about beliefs. And it gets to
Hmm.
the core of human being, which we just got into. You know what I mean?
Well, it's funny because as I was thinking about this topic, I was thinking about something that I've let go from the last 10 years is that I let go that there's more than one way of thinking about something. There's more than one way of believing something. There's more than one that I think that's why there's so much strife in the world where, there's so many people that have such polarizing beliefs. There's not just one way or two ways to think about something or to look at something. There's multiple ways of looking at things. And, growing up in the household I grew up in, my dad was always right. It's how, it was my dad's way or you're wrong. And it took me a long time in my life to figure out that that's not the case. And it's okay to think your own way, and it's okay to have your own thoughts, and it's okay to believe your own beliefs. You don't have to believe something that somebody else did. And I'm guessing that too with you, Vipin, being born in India and then moving to the United States as a child, that you've got all of that stuff added to you as well. I mean, because there's all the stuff that we hear about the Indian culture and how your parents want you to be a doctor or a lawyer or or whatever, and then to come to America and live in Roseville, Minnesota, then all of a sudden you've got your Indian ways and your American ways, and you're being pulled apart at, for you especially,
Yeah,
being pulled in two different directions.
totally, totally, totally. And so, gosh, this is an interesting topic. We're getting into some serious stuff here. Um, Cultural values are hard to get rid of.
Oh,
Um,
I'll bet.
and expectations from parents and family and culture are that you're going to be a doctor or engineer or you're going to be a very successful person and you study, you have tutors at home and all of this stuff. And it's part of the culture. And I think you see a lot of Indian people who come in and you'll see it on sitcoms. This woman is out there about her kid. Oh, well, my kid's going to Harvard. My other kid's going to
Hmm.
Stanford. And so they compete and they make fun of it nowadays because the pressure of social status is such a big deal. And it's part of the caste system that kind of permeates through the values. And it basically says that I'm better than um, other people and that I need to be at the top. And I don't love that part of the values that come a part of it. And not always. There's a whole slew of Indian culture that is yoga and meditation and loving and all of that stuff. But I think what we
And
see
chakras,
sometimes,
and yeah.
there is a variety of Indian values and culture and meditation that I love and I focus on. And so like you said, there's many ways to look at it. There was this way to look at it from a cultural, professional, rational world that you got to be a doctor or engineer in technology. And then there is this spiritual aspect of detachment, self-love, helping others, being of service, practicing yoga of the mind, which is meditation, yoga, physical exercise of stretching and being in peace with your body and aligning your body. So yeah, this is a very, very interesting topic. And I think our beliefs are critical. We just talked about the limiting beliefs and I tried to push things forward towards beliefs that are I'm confident, I'm strong, I'm capable, I'm worthy, those type of beliefs that we want to get to. And so you just said, your father was right. And if he wasn't right, it was his way or the highway. And what are some of the other beliefs that you have that could be limiting who you are? And I'll give you one of mine as I think through mine after I hear from you.
Well, I mean, it's funny because when I was growing up, I remember that I wasn't always I always knew where my stuff was, but I wasn't the most organized person. And I remember Jason Brown used to call me Slobby Bobby. I don't know if you remember Jason at all.
Yeah, I remember Jason. Yeah.
But he would call me Slobby Bobby, and for a long time I thought that's that I'm Slobby Bobby. I'm whatever. But no, you're not the person that people think you are. You're the person that you are, that you believe that you are to your core, and I guess I really don't know how to answer that question, Vipin. There's so many things that I am not that people think that I am, and there's so many things that I am that people think that I'm not.
Yeah, let's take other people out of it for a moment. Let's think about what has been. So, for example, let me start with my limiting belief. One of my limiting beliefs is I am an emotional eater. Therefore, I will not lose weight because I don't know how to control my food consumption. And so that's been a limiting belief most of my life. And there's been times where I've lost a bunch of weight. I did intermittent fasting a number of years ago. I lost 40 to 50, not 50 pounds, about 45 pounds back in 23, 22, and 21, 22. I don't think that limiting belief serves me. And so I think anybody can learn to eat healthy and realize that if I want to, if I associate enough pain to eating badly, I can change my belief. The meaning of what I put in my mouth, what I put in my stomach, it has to come from a deeper sense of self saying, I care and I value health. If I don't care and value health, I'm probably not going to eat healthy. I'm just trying to live short term with pleasure of eating ice cream most nights. Now,
there is that. That's always a beautiful thing.
That's always a beautiful thing. And, I love my Oreo cookies, ice cream from this Oregon place called Tillamook on the coast there. Tillamook cookies and cream ice cream is in my fridge right now. But it's not empty. It's something that I haven't eaten for a few days. And it's something that I am working on. So for me, the beliefs that I care about at the moment are I am emotionally irrational, means that I can feel the emotions, I can process them, and I can release them. It doesn't mean that I have to control my emotions. I can, in a sense, manage them rather than control them. You can't control anger. When you try to control something, it kind of backfires. When you manage it, you're like, okay, I'm getting off balance. What do I do about it? I can feel the anger. What is it telling me? I can feel the anxiety. What is it telling me? I can feel the triggering event. What is it telling me? I can saying, okay, it's not feeling good. I'm getting attacked by someone in this situation and I'm getting angry. Am I able today to, on the fly, turn myself off and saying, well, that's great. I'm going to focus on the positive today, right now, in the middle of an argument. No, that's not going to happen. So I'm going to try to pause. And pausing is a great way for me to start to process what I'm feeling. And in that pause, in that process, I start to let go. So, I don't want to feel that way. So I got to extract myself out of the situation, or I'm going to get engaged. I don't want to get engaged. And sometimes you're in a situation where you have an argument and the argument leads to a triggering event, and then you're off balance for a couple of hours. But after that third hour, go ahead.
Are you a good fighter? Are you like, if somebody engages you in an argument, are you go right for the jugular, or are you Teflon, or do you engage, disengage? Because I find that as I'm getting older, I'm more feisty than I used to. Because when I was younger, I used to be more, lackadaisical and not really caring.
Yeah.
Laissez-faire, I guess. And now it's so sad it's so sad to admit this, Vipin, but I mean, there's times now that it's like, let's go. I'm ready to go. Let's put on the gloves and let's fight this thing out.
How does that work with your new belief of I'm calm, centered, and loving?
I don't know. I am just like I am like everybody else in this world. I'm flawed. I try hard. I try to be the best person that I can be on a daily basis. But I mean, as we've talked about, and as everybody knows, I mean, we all have flaws and we all have things that we're working on, and that's just something that I personally need to work on. I don't like to be wrong, and it's sometimes it's tough to be incorrect.
Or off balance, or
Yeah,
not the way you want to be. And there's going to be lots of situations. It's life, right? It's going to
yeah.
throw a twist in you. You're trying to go to a golf outing and your oil light comes on and now you're going to be late, or
Stupid oil light.
yeah,
Put a piece of tape. Put a piece of tape over it. You'll be fine.
yeah, oil light, right? Especially if you're driving an expensive premium gas car, put a little oil in that thing as soon as you can is what the doctor called for. Oh, so I think it's really important to give yourself grace and to say, okay, this event is triggering me. I need a couple hours to calm down.
Uh-huh.
Or this thing
Well,
triggered me and I need to give myself 20 minutes, or, they say pause for like 5 seconds, 7 seconds helps a lot in a moment. And I think pausing is like we talked about it, this number of, everything comes down to emotions. We're always talking about emotions. Emotions are the way we express our thoughts, our feelings, our beliefs. And if you're so certain about something and somebody is out there telling you you're wrong, you're like, screw you, I'm going to fight you about it.
mm-hmm.
Or you could take the Buddhist or any monk, Christian monk, Hindu monk, whatever you want to call it, approach and say, okay, it is what it is. I am not going to get engaged in it.
I'm calm, centered, and loving.
I'm calm, centered, and loving.
Calm,
Like,
centered,
that's our
and loving.
mantra. It
I'm
always
calm,
comes back
centered,
to
and
it.
loving.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I am lovingly rational. And the second one that I like to talk about lately is being inspired. So being inspired is a huge value and a belief that I have. I do believe that I'm inspired. I do believe that I'm inspired by a higher purpose that I have of helping people. I do believe that I'm inspired enough to go to the gym every morning, even on a Sunday morning, get up, do my prayers, get in the gym as soon as it opens up, or in today's case, a little bit later than when it opened up, and get ready for the things that I have to do. Busy schedule on Sunday. Got to watch a World Cup soccer game later today, 12-2. Going to work on a startup thing that I'm working on. So a busy day even on a Sunday. I'm inspired to do these things because I care about the life that I'm building. So I'm rational. I get up in the morning, do the things. I'm inspired. And then the third thing that I value a lot lately has been I'm grateful. I'm grateful for what I have, the life that I'm creating. I'm grateful for you. I told you I appreciate you before the podcast. I'm sorry that I was late. I was trying to figure out today, like, do I do this on this platform or the other platform? I was trying to juggle in my head a bunch of things to figure out, like, is this the right way to go left or go right? And at the last minute, I decided to record it on this platform. And so we're moving forward towards the Money and Mantra podcast, letting go of the Fall, Rise, Give, letting go of Manifest 360, and kind of in our transition phase. And it's not easy. It's not easy. I need to give myself grace and saying, okay, I'm working through these decisions. I'm working through this process. I'm lovingly rational. I'm inspired. And I'm grateful for the journey that I'm on.
One of the things that I think you're good at is the empowering beliefs. So we're talking about beliefs, and we were talking earlier about the limiting beliefs. But with the empowering beliefs, I believe that you believe that opportunities are everywhere. That you've got opportunity galore. With each negative thing, there's a positive thing that could happen from it. So the opportunities there are limitless, and that's what I really do appreciate about you, Vipin, is that you not only you see the big picture, but then you take steps to make that big picture a reality. Whereas a lot of people don't do that. They're like, oh yeah, look at that. That would be really cool to do that. All right, so let's go drink some beers and go fishing. Whereas you're like, oh, there's an opportunity. What can I do to climb up the ladder in order to make that happen or to get things rolling in that direction, which I think is very cool.
Yeah. So I think it's one of the values that I have, one of the beliefs that I have is that I'm very ambitious. That I'm ambitious to accomplish, and I owe it to myself to try all the way through to persevere and try to make something work. Back in the olden days, back in previous ventures or previous ways of thinking, I would try something, get initial failure, and quit and try something else.
That's not the way to do it.
You kind of got to persevere. We're on this podcast journey for 2 years, 2+ years now. We haven't given up yet. We're going to try to keep doing things better and better. We're going to learn, saying, okay, maybe it's better to get a better background for Vipin. Maybe it's to put it on YouTube. Maybe it's to do XYZ marketing. And we're going to keep trying until we get to a certain place and adapt. I'm not going to quit. And somebody says this to me, a friend of mine, don't quit before the miracle happens. The miracle happens right at the end when you're about to quit. I've got a story around that, but go ahead.
We've talked about that though, since day one, I believe.
Yeah.
I mean, that was one of the things that back in the Follow, Rise, Give days, we've talked about. Don't quit before the miracle. And it's funny because we've stepped away from this a couple of times, but we've come back to it because I believe it is, it's not the miracle, but it's a great thing. I mean, I think every time that we do this, we come up with something new, and we're talking. You know what I mean? We're engaging in conversation and building on something. We're just trying to figure out that the thing that we're building on is money and mantras, man. We're building on your book.
Yeah, and that was the original purpose, right? The first book was called Fall, Rise, Give, and then I want to bring in a story of almost quitting, and then having the miracle of the book happen last year, right? Mm-hmm. So we went out. We had Gabe helping us out, and they were helping us with all of our book marketing and our podcasting and social media and all of that stuff. And the part of the social media and the marketing didn't work as well, but they introduced us to a marketing person that helped. And we went out and sent inquiry letters, hundreds of them, and none of them worked. And then we took the summer off last year from the podcast, trying to figure out what we're going to do here. And I decided, and so did you, that we really like doing this. Even if only 100 people, 300 people a month, which are listening to this, or 3,000 are listening to it, or 10,000, it doesn't matter. What matters is that we enjoy doing what we're doing. We enjoy cooking in the process of what we're trying to make as a meal. And the meal really is aligning ourselves to true purpose and prosperity. And this thing that I tried right before I gave up last year, I hired a company out of New York to do an inquiry letter for me. They wanted to send me a proposal and all this. I'm like, no, let's just do an inquiry letter. Inquiry letter professionally done. They recommended 10 agents to go to. Of the 10, 2 got back to me. And one ended up signing with me, a New York-based agent. God bless her. She's amazing. And then she actually ended up calling the book Money and Mantras. That's what it's all about. The world between rational, which is you, Vipin, technology, tech entrepreneur, and also a spiritual meditator, chakra meditation guy. I'm not a guru, but I'm kind of an expert in it. I've been meditating on the chakras for a long time. So she ended up creating this thing. We ended up getting a book deal, but I almost quit on that last year. I gave it a last shot. And sure enough, we got a book deal now. We're going to be launching a book. I'm not quitting a podcast. I'm doing a podcast either in a path A or path B because I like doing it. I know that people are going to hopefully like hearing our message. So perseverance is a huge deal. So for me, one of the values I have of being ambitious doesn't mean that I quit right away. I persevere. I'm dedicated. I'm committed. I don't necessarily always have certainty on which path is going to work, but I have enough experiences in my life that help me validate the fact that if you persevere, you work hard, you will meet success at some level. We are manifesting certain things in our lives all the time, either consciously or subconsciously. So that's what I try to believe. And so for us, and for me right now, a belief of confidence, inspired ambition, success, all those things come from a certainty that I have based on the experiences that I had in the past. So beliefs can be, like we said, limiting based on our experiences. Beliefs can be empowering based on our experiences, and or beliefs can be certain in the sense that so powerful that you're so driven that you leave no option but to do the thing that you want to do. And so when you're so certain about your belief, that's when you're going to take action. At the end of the day, this journey that we're on about aligning our values, aligning our beliefs, aligning our emotions, aligning our spirituality, all of that comes down to is, are you taking the right action to get you what you want in life? And ultimately, that's what it's all about.
Maybe an easier way or a shorter way of saying it is beliefs influence our thoughts.
Beliefs influence our thoughts, our emotions, our
Yeah.
feelings, our
Our
actions,
life.
our actions, which is life.
Yes. Yeah.
They say you are your thoughts. Well, where are my thoughts coming from? They're coming from your beliefs. Where are your beliefs coming from? Experiences of watching TV. If you believe you have no hope, you're going to sit there and eat a bag of chips and watch TV all day. If you believe you have hope for something, you're going to go after it. If you believe you have certainty and you must get it, you're going to take real action. You're going to get up, get fired up, ready to go, no matter what. So it's understanding what the limiting beliefs that you have. For people listening to the show, write down 5 limiting beliefs that you may have. We talked about mine, right? I am insecure about myself at a health level. I'm insecure about myself at my self-love level. I'm insecure about XYZ. Talk about empowering beliefs, which are the opposites. I also believe that I'm very confident. I want to work on being more emotionally balanced, not to control my emotions, but to manage them in a way that serves me to get what I want.
And that's a big difference. Actually, control and manage are two completely different things, but that have the same outcome. You know what I mean? Not the same outcome, but they have the same hope.
They have the same result.
Result. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Results.
Yeah, they have the same result. Control of anything is not good.
No.
It's hard. When you try to control something, it doesn't work. Try to manage it, you accept it, you process it, and then you release it. And this is a word that, to be honest with you, I was talking to someone yesterday, and they mentioned this. Maybe you're trying to control your emotions too much. Maybe you need to look at it and manage your emotions. Maybe you are out there influencing things and you're better able to handle your emotions because you're able to focus on certain things like my mantras. So mantras are a really good way to start thinking differently. I told you, my main mantra that I've been focused on for the last month or so is I'm lovingly rational, inspired, and grateful. The other mantra of I'm calm, centered, and loving, I always go back to that. That's always the base one. And then the one that I talk about on the business side that you and I talked about, but you mentioned it a few minutes ago, is opportunity. I attract people, places, and opportunities that serve my purpose. And my purpose is to help millions of people. I may not get to achieve my purpose, but that's okay. I'm trying my best. I'll leave it on the field, as they say. I'll give it my best shot to the level that I can. And it doesn't really matter at the outcome. What matters is that I did the steps and I followed the process. And I'm confident in myself to saying, I gave my best shot. We've given it our best shot so far, Bob. We've got good results. We got a book deal, 2 years.
Right.
And what's the next step? We're in a transition phase. We're going to adjust this thing. We're going to keep going. You and I are going to keep talking about things and make a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. And we'll find a way. And that's what I want people to think about as well. Go ahead.
Is the next step a movie? Who's going to play you, Vipin?
No. Andy Garcia. An Indian version of Andy Garcia.
Jack Black.
For you, yeah. Totally. Yeah, Jack Black's great. No, when I was younger, people used to think that I'm the Indian version of Andy Garcia. And it's funny, Andy Garcia's got a beard like yours right now. He was in a movie that I saw.
It's an old man gray beard is what it is.
Yeah. Andy Garcia is looking old, and he's my age. You're a little bit older than me. But yeah, he's a great actor that I loved watching growing up. But really, at the end of the day, Bob, as we close this thing out, beliefs are the most powerful way for you to get what you want. We need to work on understanding our limiting beliefs and developing our empowering beliefs. And the way we do that and the way we talk about it is the mantras. If you don't think you can control your emotions, if you don't think you can control your, which we can't control, we can manage them. On the emotional mantra piece that we talked about is I'm calm, centered, and loving. Keep repeating that to yourself. Usually helps us to be calm, centered, and loving, kind of that body, mind, soul thing. And then on this one that I'm working on that I think is really helpful for most people is I'm lovingly rational, meaning that I'm living in the world today of money and rationality and all of that stuff. I'm inspired. I'm inspired by a higher purpose, spirituality, all of that. And I'm grateful. Being grateful opens the door to so many possibilities. Being grateful is one of the most powerful energy vibrations in the world. It's not the number one. Being authentic is number one. So your beliefs and your mantras, if you authentically practice them, repeat, as Tony Robbins would say in his book, Awaken the Giant Within, the way to change your beliefs is through repetition, doing it over and over again. Go back and make a list of all the things that you have empowering beliefs around, and make a list of all the things that you've done. Take a self-inventory of all the things that you should be proud of. We don't tend to look at those. We tend to look at the negative ones. I say today, go make a list of 10 things that empowered you in the past, and you'll be surprised. I make a list every single day or regularly 3 to 5 times a week about things that I'm proud of on a daily basis. I tell you about that, right? I send myself an email, things that I'm proud of, things that I'm grateful for, things that I can improve. So with that, let's leave it for today. And mantras are a great way to change your beliefs, and changing your beliefs can change your life. And hope you get what you want. Thanks for joining us today on Money and Mantras with Bob and Vipin.
And that wraps up this episode of Manifest 360. If today's conversation sparked something in you, don't just think about it, apply it. Alignment isn't a vibe, it's a practice. Belief, emotion, strategy, and action, all moving in the same direction, that's where momentum lives. Be sure to follow, share with someone building something meaningful, and join us next week as we continue helping you manifest wealth and purpose. Manifest 360 is a podcastforhire.com production.